Trust me. You have nothing to be scared about.
What's going on, friends? Logan Myerz here for Cinephellas.com. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing the brand new horror film or psychological thriller everybody's been talking about,
The Lodge.
This film was just released on Hulu. I was hoping to see this movie back in the movie theater, but never came around in my area to see it, so I'm really excited to check this out and talk about this movie for you guys. So The Lodge is directed by the directors from Goodnight Mommy. It was a really fantastic horror film that came out in 2014. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely check it out. It's worth your time. So the setup of the film, we have this family. There's this like really bad traumatic event that happens to this family, and the father is dating this young chick named Grace. It's basically this girl was his like subject for a book he was writing, and she's really fucked up. We have Jaeden Martell playing the young son Aiden. You guys may be familiar with his work. He was in Knives Out and the It movies, It Chapter 1 and 2. Really fantastic young actor. And then his sister in the film is Lia McHugh. She plays Mia. So these young kids are definitely coming across a lot of bad things early on in their lives. So basically, the father sends his kids up to this lodge resort up in the mountains during the winter time while he's working. He wants the kids to get to know his new fiancé. And it really sets up a lot of questionable things in the film, and more importantly, the father. Why would he send his young kids that really don't know his girlfriend, his fiancé, up to the mountains in the middle of winter? I don't know. And the overall sense of this movie is very cold and full of isolation, and you don't know what's going to happen in this film. You don't know if it's going to be like a straight up, supernatural ghost story, or if it's somebody's going to end up being a murderer. You don't know what's going to happen. So I had a lot of questions early on in the film, just the way that it was set up. I love all the camera shots early on in the film that really sets up the atmosphere that this is going to be a dark and gloomy movie. And this family going up to the mountains, it's not going to end well, as we've all seen The Shining. So I was really excited to see where they take this story. With the kids being up there with Grace, they don't really know much about her. They are really pissed off because their mother basically passes away early on in the film, and they find out it really has to do with their father and his new girlfriend, Grace, the subject matter he's, really looking into for his book. And we find out that Grace was involved in this cult, and there's like a mass suicide, and she was the only member of the cult that survived. So she's definitely messed up on medication, probably dealing with all the traumatic events that happened to her, earlier on in her life. So she's going through a lot. So you can tell that the kids don't care for Grace. They don't really want to get to know her. She's the reason that their mother died, the reason that the parents' marriage fell apart. She's the whole problem behind this family, so they're not going to give her the time of day, and it really sets up the rest of the film, what they do to Grace. Riley Keough plays Grace in this film. She does a really fantastic job with this character, of the downward spiral of this person mentally, and everything that's going on in her brain, and how this has to do with religion. There's a lot of religious symbolism in this film, a lot of crosses, a lot of dreams and things like that having to do with the cult, and Grace being a young girl and coming across that. And in terms of the imagery in this film, the movie is very terrifying and traumatic and torturing, and it will mess with your head. It's just like short glimpses of like these bad dreams that Grace is having. And I guess in a way this is like a revenge tale. The kids are, seeking revenge for their dead mother, and they're going to take out all their hostility and anger towards Grace's character. And you're thinking as an audience, seeing the kids mess with Grace, and Grace really losing her mind throughout the film, that it's not going to end well. She's probably going to end up killing the kids. And then it comes to the third act, where it's a really cool twist, something I didn't see coming, really having to do with purgatory and, again, religion. And you see Grace finally losing it. She's like, all right, we need to get help. We can't get a hold of your dad. So she leaves the kids at the lodge, and she takes off looking for help, another house, and middle of nowhere. She's not going to find much. She's probably going to freeze to death. And it sets up a lot of great aspects of Grace returning to the lodge, having to do with the dog and some of her personal belongings, where they were basically at in the house. There's a lot of great aspects in this film. It's a movie that keeps you guessing. You're not really sure what's going to happen. And especially at the very end, I thought the ending, the final scene of the movie was really fucking fantastic and terrifying. So with The Lodge, I really didn't know too much about this film. I watched a short trailer. It looks like people stuck in a lodge, some sort of ghosts or supernatural presence, but it was something completely different. There's really great twist towards the end of the film. I like how they wrote these characters. It's a movie, thought-provoking movie that makes you think about all the themes that they use in here, all the religious symbols they use having to do with cross and the purgatory, and seeing what happens to Grace's character in the downward spiral. of her, and I really love the actress that played Grace. She did a really fantastic job. I love the kids in this movie as well. I thought Jaeden Martell and his sister in the film did a really great job, and they've been through a lot, and you can see what happens to their characters at the very end. This is not a very happy ending, so if you guys are looking for a feel-good kind of movie, this is definitely not for you. This is a psychological thriller, more than a horror flick. It's definitely more psychological. Keeps you on the edge of your seat, but also at the same time, it's a slow burn, you know, a lot of isolation, and a film that's really fitting for 2020. I really love the directors in this film. They did a great job directing this story, this really spooky, traumatizing, and terrifying story of these characters that make it up to Lodge and having to do with all this, you know, backstories of cult and religion. I thought that was really great. The cast did a great job, and I love the set design, the production design, the camera work, cinematography was absolutely beautiful and chilling at the same time. It really had a cold feel to it. I really had a great time with this film from start to finish. It's a movie that you'll probably watch once and not revisit because it'll definitely mess with your mind. But it's a movie I highly recommend, especially during, you know, the coronavirus lockdown, quarantine things going on right now in the world. You guys will sit back and enjoy and watch a terrifying experience at The Lodge. So overall, I'm going to give The Lodge a 4 out of 5 Jaeden Martell hair pieces. So what did you guys think of The Lodge? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What did you guys think of that really messed up ending? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myerz signing out from The Lodge. Ooh, it's chilly up here. Ooh. Until the next quarantine video review. Cheers!